Are you a blacksmith? Iron sharpens iron. And if we want to improve our abilities as traders, then we need to test them. And not just against ourselves, but against other people. We need to break down our processes and uh, refine them, see how they stand up when other people are poking holes in them. And a huge part of learning and growing and just success in general is making mistakes. You cannot grow past a certain point without making mistakes. And the most important the most important part of our process is making our mistakes, identifying the mistakes that we've made, and then pivoting from them. And if we're not doing that, we're not going to succeed, not in the long run. And that speed of failure, that breakdown and analysis, that is what causes massive growth. It provides insane opportunities for building skill. And the quickest way to fail better is by teaming up with people who share our principles of investing. And by that, I mean there are certain assumptions that we make about investing that go to the very core of what we do. Uh, my focus is trend trading, social trends, these macroeconomic trends. There's certain things that I value more, trends that hold significant fundamental value, something that's actually useful to people. There's these certain core principles that I hold that I might not want to pair up with someone who is out there trending the latest fidget spinner, or trying to trade the latest fidget spinner. Like the fads, the short-term trends, that's not really my focus. So you need to find someone who shares enough of the core principles. Find out what your core investing principles are, write them down, and just have a look. Do I know someone who seems to think in that way? And then see if you can collaborate with them. We need that shift in perspective. It's incredibly valuable. It's one of the most valuable things you can get is just a shift in perspective. Why is empathy so important? Because shifting your perspective every now and then allows you to completely rethink something. And sometimes that's all it takes, is just looking at the same problem from a different direction. And not just that, but when you have, when you're trading cooperatively, when you find someone who holds your principles, who trades similarly to you, and you're learning from them and they're learning from you, you're also getting that accountability. Since you're both using the same principles, when they see that you're not applying those principles, they'll call it out. And when you see that they're not, you'll call it out. And that keeps you both on track. And otherwise, if you were going solo, you wouldn't have that voice saying, hey, whoa, 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 what are you doing? Why are you making that decision? Why are you going down that path? And you'd do it, and you'd get the mistake, and you'd learn from the mistake. But if we've already learned that lesson, our trading partners can get us back on track, can keep us on the right path. So it's highly important that you find people that share those principles and discuss things with them. You don't need to be sitting down and talking about specific trades, and you know that's it's valuable if you can do that, if they have the time for that, and if you can organize it in that way. But you don't have to do that. So long as you're getting their perspective on the overarching trends, at the very least, you can do a lot with that, and it can help you a lot. It can avoid a lot of mistakes, and yeah, should you see if you can get that person to talk about specific trades and you can hash them out back and forth, that would be fantastic. And yes, yeah, absolutely. But if you can just get that shift in perspective, a little bit of accountability, and that extra motivation, because if they share the same principles, they may share some of the same goals. And it can help a lot when you're in a rut, when someone says you're on the right track. That does something to us, and it's valuable. And in those relationships, what you want to be doing is chunking your communication. When you're discussing with someone about your trading, about trends and investments, and this, that, and the other, um, try and focus your communication on the absolute minimum. What is it exactly that they need to know in order to come to a good conclusion as to whether this is a good opportunity or a bad opportunity? What do I need to know to look at what they're looking at and determine if it's a good or a bad opportunity? Speak to each other in those chunks of communication. That the small pieces that matter. The more wordy you get, the more confusing you get, the less useful the insights are going to be. So keep it very focused. Eliminate anything that isn't necessary to determine the value of the opportunity, and then you can flesh it out from there. Once you've got the basics down, then proceed and you can go deeper. But keep it to a bare minimum starting out, and don't lose your learner mindset. Every now and then I'll catch myself slipping back into a fixed mindset. That idea that certain things just are the way they are. That some things aren't changeable. And it just slips in different ways. Don't let that happen. Everything is mutable. Everything we do, there are skills associated with those activities. You can become a master at those skills. So decide what skills are most valuable to you and become the best. Make as many mistakes as you can, as quickly as you can, and build the talent. And when you're discussing these topics with other people, make sure that you're not just giving a monologue about this investing opportunity and that investing opportunity. And it's very easy to get wrapped up in your own perceptions of a trade. And yeah, you want to tell everyone about that, and you want to go into all the details. If you're trying to get real value from a discussion with someone else about a trade, then your goal isn't to explain every detail to them. It's to explain the details that will allow them to understand whether the trade is valuable or not valuable. the key pillars. They don't need to know all of this other information necessarily. And the more information you add, the more they have to process. And so the less likely it is that they're going to be able to deliver better value to you, and vice versa. Um, so band together, work together on projects, focus on creating systems that allow you to make as many mistakes as quickly as possible, and find people who want to do the same, who share the same investing principles, and make it happen. We've got a lot coming, guys. There's crazy news regarding the food shortages and the fuel shortages. I'll definitely be dropping updates as those things move forward. Just make sure you're staying safe. And I tweeted out this morning. Be sure that you're doing one thing that helps insure you against the worst possible thing that could happen to your portfolio. What is the worst thing that could happen to your assets? And what is one thing that you could do right now that would insure you just a little bit against that potential risk? And just make sure you do that, because building back from zero is very difficult. But if you can make it so that if that crazy scenario happens, you're not at zero, then you're a step ahead of everyone else. So make sure that you protect yourself. Build those defenses. Make sure you're locking in trades that insure you against threats that could wipe you out. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. I'll see you next time. The next video may be delayed. We'll see. But I'll see you guys soon. Have a great one.